Morning, my loves. How are we? How are we? A little adjustment of the camera there just before we started. Oh, hello. This is a sign for later on. The mat. Let's throw that out the way and let's shove the sofa down a little bit further. So, how are we all doing? I hope we're well. I've just been reading live chat. Apparently, I'm flocking my guts out yesterday afternoon, and you couldn't see any of it. Come on, everybody, let's go, let's go. You're all amazing. What do you mean you didn't see it? Anyway, suffice to say, it was marvellous. Now, today we're going to do cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, as requested, because I'm like, I do what I'm told. Now, we've been doing a lot of stuff that's been natural opposite. So what I do going forwards, the lady does going backwards, and vice versa. We're just starting to now get into situations where we're doing different things at the same time. Oh, I tell you what, it's getting interesting. Now, I'm just going to very briefly go over some of the things that we've done in cha-cha-cha. They can be used in rumba as well. It's sort of the same variation without the cha-cha-cha bit. But that's only in sort of a number of the basic variations. When we start getting a bit technical and sort of a bit schwanky, things change. So this variation I'm going to show you in a second can be used both in the rumba and the cha-cha-cha-cha. And as I say, it's only the cha-cha-cha bit that is different between the two variations. But very briefly, just going over some of the things we've done, just thinking about the chat, hilarious, in the past. So we've just done normal forward and backward basic. So I'm going forward as a man, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha, forward, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. And in rumba you just do forward, replace, side, back, replace, side. We've done the time step, 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 cha-cha-cha. This is the very first thing we did. Cha-cha-cha. Yum, bump, cha-cha-cha, and yum, bump, cha-cha-cha. That was the very first thing we did. And that's basically the rhythm of the dance, and it remains constant to start with. And then we did a New York, if you remember. We went through into promenade. So we both opened from facing each other into a forward position here in promenade. So if I'm the lady, I go through with my right foot and cha-cha-cha. And always a cha-cha-cha facing each other, and then we go the other way. Through with the right foot for the boys, cha-cha-cha, left foot for the boys, cha-cha-cha. And the girls do the natural opposite, still natural opposite, forward with the right foot, cha-cha-cha, left foot there, cha-cha-cha. And let the hip go in, bomb. Now, that's the New York. Now we've got the thing called the hand-to-hand, which is essentially, I always think of it as the opposite of the New York. I go backwards here with the outside foot. So back on the left foot for the man, step, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. So we're turning away from each other, cha-cha-cha. And the lady does the natural opposite. She goes out with the right foot and cha-cha-cha, left foot and cha-cha-cha. So far so good? Still following? Nicely done. Now we talked about a shoulder to shoulder in the rumba. Old Frankie was talking about the shoulder to shoulder. Same principle applies. We can do this step in cha-cha-cha as well. And what we're doing is I'm basically stepping forward with my left foot, cha-cha, but I'm doing it on the diagonal alignment. So I'm just going sort of across myself a little bit. Not so far as to open to New York, but sort of in between the two. But what I do is I step outside the lady's leg. And then I put my right shoulder on this occasion to her right shoulder. So we're right shoulder facing. We come back facing each other, so it'll be opposite shoulders. And now I go to the other side here and I'm facing the other shoulder. And the lady does the natural opposite. She goes back on the right. The man now steps on this side of the lady. So she goes here and cha-cha-cha. And on this side here, he steps on this side of the lady. Looked like I was doing the thing with the exits are here, and just follow me because I'm going to run down there. So that's the shoulder to shoulder. Now, we've done Cuban breaks, 4 and 1 in cha-cha-cha, and variations on the theme of that, which we'll do again in a minute. The thing I want to show you now is called a fan. Oh yeah. It's a massively popular, if you like, used step. It's a very, very integral part of the dance, really. So much comes from the fan. We're going to do a basic fan. Now for the boy, we do this. Boy, this is where we're doing different things at the same time. And invariably, the boy's doing the easy bit. So whenever I say we're doing something different, that invariably means the girl's going to do something more difficult than the boy. It's obviously invented by a fella, obviously. So give all the work to the lady. And he's probably a bright fella because he knows she'll pull it off and he probably won't. So he goes forward, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. That's the pattern. The body changes slightly because I start to shape towards the lady, but we'll come to that in a moment. But that's the basic pattern. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. That's it. Fellas, your work is done. Ladies, you have to do this. You go back, replace, cha-cha-cha. And on that cha-cha-cha, you start to open your body because I'm not going to step forward in towards the man. I'm going to step forward across the man. Now, if you remember, if you're a regular, you remember we talked about cross-body leads in salsa. We did it in rumba as well, where the lady steps across the man and not towards the man. This is exactly the same thing. If you're first time today, this is the cha-cha. Thank you very much and welcome to the class. So when you step forward on your left foot, ladies, you're not, as I'm doing the man step here, I go cha-cha and I step backwards on my right foot. Normally you would step towards, but as I step backwards, I'm going to lead you, because that's my role, I'm going to lead you across me. So you're going to go across there. So the body goes back, the foot goes back, replace, cha-cha-cha, and I start to open. See how I'm not staying straight, I'm just opening, sort of an inclination, because I'm going to go in that direction. Now normally, there would be an amount of turn and I'd go off in that direction, but I'm going to take it straight for the purposes of this demonstration. So we go and back, replace, cha-cha-cha, and I go forward there, small step to the side, and now I do another cha-cha-cha. So I go step, step, cha-cha-cha. Rhythm remains exactly the same. So there's your constant, the rhythm. Rhythm remains the same. It goes step, step, cha-cha-cha. Those step, step can alter. You can go forward, forward, you can go forward, replace, you can go forward, replace, back. I mean, you can do many things. You can do tap, tap, all these sorts of variations. Forward, turn. But essentially, there's two steps and then there is the cha-cha-cha. So this is what you're doing, girls. You go and step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, step. Now your cha-cha-cha, now this is the tricky bit. When you're going backwards and forwards in cha-cha-cha, it becomes a lock step. When you're going sideways or turning, it remains as a chassé. I know. Technical moment. I feel a bit lightheaded. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that cha-cha-cha as a lock step. So it goes step back with the left foot. Step, step. I'm going to do it this way so you can see it. I'm going to step backwards with the left foot. I cross in front with the right foot, and I step backwards with the left foot. That's it. Still, cha-cha-cha, 3 steps. So if I'm going sideways, I go cha-cha-cha, or I go cha-cha-cha. If I go backwards, I go cha-cha-cha. And if I go forwards, I go cha-cha-cha. So, again, we've discussed it in the past, but whenever you're locking going forwards, you lock behind, and whenever you're locking going backwards, you lock in front. That's the rule in all the dances. Ballroom, Latin, anything you want to do. Musical theatre, jazz, you won't lock going the other way, unless you're doing some sort of variation, dare I say, but then that's in the world of choreography, you can do what you like then. But for the technique, you're going to always lock forwards and backwards. Behind, in front. Behind, in front. Comprendez-vous? Technique over? Alright, here we go, let's dance the step. So we go back, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, step, cha-cha-cha. And this is what we call fan position. I've got an open position. The man is here. So I've gone step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Here. And the lady will finish here in open position, facing that way, looking that way. Hand here. Man takes her hand in his left hand, her right hand, like this. All right? So, one more time. I go back, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, step. I've let go, cha, lock, open. How's that? Not bad? We'll come to the next bit in a minute. That is the first half. Well, that's the fan, really, because the next part is into a new variation. That's the fan. Now in Rumba, I do exactly the same thing without cha-cha-cha. Step, step, side, step, step, open. That's it. So it's the same variation without the lock step. Oh, how was that? That's a lot of information right there. Let's do some good mornings. Bonjour, Marion, Cynthia, Lara, guten Tag. Lee, blooming it, Lee. That must be early for you over in Arizona. Could you not sleep? Wow, well, thank you for joining us. Tracy, morning, my love. AJ, lovely. Cara, hello, my darling. So, Michelle, gorgeous. Anna, lovely jubblies. That sounded worse than it meant to. Cynthia, gorgeous, lovely to see you. Maxine, gorgeous. Lovely to see you all. Let's just update that chat. There you go there. Live chat. Gorgeous. Oh, here we go. And it's... Oh, I'm buffering. Oh, don't tell me I'm buffering. That would drive me mad. Well, I'm buffering my end. Hopefully you're not buffering your end. The sun's out, so it should be all right. So should we try that again? Boy steps. And step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Back, replace, cha-cha-cha. You see how I led the lady there? One, da. Cha-cha-cha, I lead her across me. And I step backwards, step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now sometimes this gets a bit difficult because you get a bit too far away from each other. So boys, it's your responsibility really to edge towards the lady. So you go step, replace, cha-cha-cha. As you move her across, you can always take this left foot towards her, replace, and then do a small cha-cha-cha on the spot. I'm only interested in the rhythm because if you do the correct rhythm, the correct step pattern, you'll always be in time and together. It's when you sort of mess the feet up, oh, I'm on the wrong foot, oh, a disaster. Disaster, as our friend likes to say. So the lady, you've got the tricky bit. So you go back, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, turn, cha-cha-cha. How's that? Oh, elephants upstairs. Got the idea? Open position at the end. Now, let's just go over that lock step one more time because this is the real tricky bit. This is the bit everybody stumbles on. In Strictly Come Dancing, I keep referring to that. But I don't really invariably use the fan position very often because it's actually a very, very difficult variation to grasp. It takes a bit of time to sort yourself out. One, the lock step's a bit tricky, and two, this is tricky, which we're going to come to in a minute. So it's actually a bit of a tricky step. It seems simple enough in principle, but actually quite tricky. So ladies, oh no, lock step. So when you're going backwards here, I'll do it this way, perhaps you can see it better. So as I step backwards with the left foot here, it's on a toe. I cross my right foot in front and I go onto a flat. The toe stays up because I'm going to use it. There, open position. Making a sense? So from here, let's do it from here. We go back, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, turn, step, cross, step. Nice, open position. We're not going to go any further than this. This is as much as we're going to do today because this is quite tricky. Boys, step, replace, cha-cha-cha, out she goes, cha-cha-cha. Nice. No, I know what you're going to say to me, is, well, that's all very well us being there, but how do we get out of that? Well, just use this as a piece of choreography individually, learn it, get it into your feet and your bodies, and then we'll add the next bit on another time. because it takes a bit of time to get it all together. So one more time, here we go. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, over she goes, cha-cha-cha. Now for the boys, when you're leading it, if you don't want it to go over there, you just keep your arms in normal position here, and then you can open into New York, cha-cha-cha, maybe do a spot turn. We've done this as well. And then as you take her up, gather her up in hold, you then just start to turn your body slightly. If you stay straight, she'll think you're wanting to come forward, and then you go into promenade. I say he and she, but it's leads and follows. Who's ever dancing with whom, who's ever leading the part, you have to shape the body just so she, or the partner, understands as a lady that I'm going over there. Okay, fine. And off you go. All right? Ladies, one more time. We go and step, replace, I'm going over there. Lovely. See how I've turned the body? Oh, gorgeous. Now I've got my hand here and there. I think I messed that up with the feet, but there I'm just shaping the body. And now I'm in open position. Do it one more time. And back, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, step. Here we go. Cha-cha-cha. Ah, nice. Nice. Oh, we're back in the game. Let's see what we're saying. Yes, Deborah says, perfect sense. I like that. I know you can already read this stuff. It is harder than it looks, and you're absolutely right. It seems like a simple little thing, but it's quite tricky. It's just the working out of the feet and the relationship of the bodies. The next bit is often a bit tricky as well, but as I say, we'll do that another time. Here we go. Let's try that one more time. You ready? I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it from New York. We're going to do a spot turn, and then we're going to go into fan. All right? So we're going to do. I tell you, we're going to even further back than that. We're going to do a forward back basic. We're going to do a New York. We'll do a spot turn, and then we're going to fan. So we'll join a few of the elements together. Oh, now we're starting to make routines. So we go step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, replace. This is as a boy, cha-cha-cha. Now I'm going to open. As I open, I step through into promenade. That's my New York, cha-cha-cha. I'm not going to carry on with the New York. You can. I'm just going to do a spot turn. And I go step, step, cha-cha-cha. See the principle? Step, step, cha-cha-cha. Magic. And then I take hold of my partner, cha-cha, and now I lead her across me. Oh, there she goes. Look at that lovely position through the body. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. And I've got a little artistic hand there. Do you see that? So ladies, I'll do the same thing for the ladies. So you're going to go backwards. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. You go step, replace. Now I start to go through. I go through, replace. Now I'm going to do my spot turn. I go step. Remember that? Oh, I forgot something. I'll go back over there. Hi there. Cha-cha-cha. I go back, replace. It always shaping the body. Okay, I'm going over there. Step, step, cha-cha-cha. Now that's a little bit of a routine. And you've got all those other things to add as well. You've got shoulder to shoulder, hand to hands, more New Yorks if you so wish. We're going to add the Cuban breaks another time when we start to come out of fan. There's a lovely way of getting out of fan into a Cuban break, which I'll show you next time we do cha-cha-cha. But that wasn't bad at all, was it? We're going to do one more bit of technique. We're going to do the forward and back cha-cha-chas. We'll do all four. We'll do the sideways and the forward and back. So cha-cha-chas, go. You know, step, step. Got that? Then we do cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha. If we go the other way, we go cha-cha-cha. If we go forwards, I go cha, cha, cha. Then I can go step, step. If we go backwards, I go cha, cha, cha. All right, so whenever we're doing our cha-cha-chas, those are the ways of doing it. So the step remains constant, doesn't matter what you're doing, forward and back. New York, maybe just normal forward and backs, turning, step, step, always going to be followed with a cha-cha-cha. They're the rules. If you're doing a cha-cha that's turning, for example, if I'm going step, cha-cha-cha, if I'm doing that, for example, I would do that with a chassé. I wouldn't do that with a cross. I'd go step, cha-cha-cha. It's not very often we do that, but I imagine we will do that at some stage. All right? So that is the turning cha-cha, but it's essentially just a chassé bending. Banana-shaped chassé. Very important in life, I've heard. So here we go, forward and back cha-chas. Step, cross, step, 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 and then we go backwards again. Step, cross, step. Sideways cha-cha, cha-cha, which you all know, cha-cha-cha. How's that? Now that, let me tell you, wasn't bad. You were marvellous. I hope we didn't buffer. Did we buffer? Oh, let's see if there's a question before we finish. Let's see if there's any questions. Can you add the alemana? Asks Jan. Well, Jan, we can add the alemana. For anybody who doesn't know what alemana is, it's essentially an underarm turn. Again, you can do it in both cha-cha and rumba. We'll do that another time though, Jan, because that takes a bit of working out. Because we'd have to get out a fan first. But for sure, next time we do cha-cha, alemana is what we're going to do. The alemana, well done. Cracked all that. Deborah, you're a natural. Emma, you're a natural. He's doing an easier version too. No rondies, etc. I don't think there are any rondies. Oh, lovely. Well done, everybody. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to have some rondays. Oh, marvellous. Well done, well done, well done. That's the fan. As I say, same thing in the rumba without the cha-cha. Should we just do it one more time in the rumba before we finish? Let's do it in the rumba before we finish. So we go back, replace, side, and step, replace, side, fan position. Alright? Boys, you go step, replace, side, and step, replace, side, and hip. Now, there's two things we're going to do next time we come to rumba and cha-cha-cha-cha. We're going to talk about timing. We've not really talked about timing, but we're going to talk about the timing. Let's see if I can get away with playing some music as well to demonstrate what we're going to talk about, because it's going to be quite important, because we're starting to build all these dances because you lot are so marvellous. So we're going to do that as well. And then also for Jan, we're going to do the alemana turn out of fan. Thank you very much indeed, my loves. You're all amazing. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. See you maybe at 3 o'clock this afternoon if you fancy it. And I got told off by my wife for making it too hard. So I thought you were all doing marvellously. Maybe that was the bit where you couldn't see me. You're all amazing. Thank you very much. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, and maybe see you at 3 o'clock. Bye, my loves.